In this lecture, we will be starting part C of CS Professional Paper 1. Since CS Professional new syllabus, we have ESG, Environment, Social and Governance, and we have lot of aspects relating to sustainability. Part C is for 15 marks, but actually in the practical world, you will be working on it in a daily basis, especially if you're in a listed company, and we have global opportunities in this particular part. So what is there in this part C? Let us have a look at it. So first thing you need to understand is that the concept of ESG, Environment, Social and Governance, this is what we have been doing in this subject, and in CS professional classes, I told you in the many lectures also that ESG is the future. It is going to be a 74 to 75 billion dollar market where the advisory services are there. So here we study sustainability audit, ESG rating, emerging mandates from government and regulators. See, the whole world over, people have had to catch up with sustainability. In fact, I'll just tell you a small story. There was an interview where the American actor Leonardo DiCaprio, all of you know the famous movie of Titanic. So in that, he is a person who goes and interviews Barack Obama, not in the Titanic movie, but later in one of his documentaries, he interviews Barack Obama, that is the president of US, and he asks him that what if a new president of USA comes who does not believe in sustainability or global warming and climate change and the environmental problems. So for that, Barack Obama says very well that whether they believe or not, they have to respond to the problems of the world. So in fact, Donald Trump, who was the president after Barack Obama, he doesn't believe in environmental problems. He says there is no problem. But if you look at it, the US industries and the US companies are the ones who started and who propagated ESG in a very big way. So you need to understand that whether you like it or not, today's reality is this, and we are talking about the government and the mandates from the regulators for sustainability. And in India also, the biggest change and the biggest opportunity also for company secretaries is BRSR, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting, for the top 1000 listed companies in India as per the market capitalization. So this is something very interesting and something very much required. So what is this environment and sustainability reporting, and why is it important for us? So first thing you need to understand is that in India, Infosys is one of the first companies which started this sustainability reporting, and they realized this when they adopted the GRI. GRI is a framework which we have, Global Reporting Initiative. We study that in this subject in many other places also, and they realized that investors, people who have invested money, want long-term sustainability of the company. When I say sustainability, business sustainability, economic sustainability. See, anybody who puts money into the company, they want the company to survive, they want their money to grow. It's as simple as that. But if companies neglect environmental and social problems, in today's scenario, you cannot survive, and that is a very big problem. So this, we have seen many examples of companies who have neglected social problems, environmental problems, labor issues, basic human rights, and they are nowhere to be seen today. In fact, there are many fashion brands which used to exploit laborers in Indonesia, in Myanmar, in Bangladesh, and they say that we are sustainable, we are treating people very well, but once it came out in the open, these companies have even been shut down. So that is how serious it can be. And sustainability reporting, we need to understand very well is that it is not only mandatory for top 1000 listed companies, but also slowly it will start getting mandatory for other companies and also for bigger companies based on their impact. And if you see, we also have something called as, just to give you an idea, BRSR Lite. That is, it is compulsory for top 1000 companies, but for other companies it is optional, and this is more like a practice. So the government is telling these other companies, if you start practicing and if you start complying with BRSR Lite, you can do the other sustainability also. Now, what is there in this particular part? We need to understand very clearly. In sustainability audit, we have the concept relating to meaning of the sustainability audit. What is the sustainability audit? Why do we need it? Then evolution of the audit. See, if you look at it historically, audit means what? Only financial audit. That is, in India we know chartered accountant is the statutory auditor of a company. They come and what do? They check whether the accounts has been maintained properly, where everything is in order, right? And they report it, which finally goes to the annual general meeting. Shareholders look at the auditor's report along with the financials and they can ask questions. So everybody knew about financial audit, but nobody thought that there is something which is necessary called a sustainability audit. See, now one company will tell we are very sustainable, we are environmentally friendly, we are having very good ethical practices, we are treating our employees well, we are treating our workers well, we are treating our consumers well, we are following all the rules and regulations of the government. They're telling that, but are they really doing that? How will we know? See, same way company says we did all the accounting properly and all the accounting is as per the accounting standards, accounting is as per the principles and policies. We have complied Companies Act, we have complied GST, we have complied Income Tax Act and every other law like Foreign Exchange Management Act. But have they really done that? That is when a chartered accountant does a statutory audit. Same way for secretarial audit. All of you know very well that for a company secretary, we have section 203 talks about KMP, 204 secretarial audit for bigger companies, 205 we have functions of CS, that is different, but 204 secretarial audit, what are we telling? What are we doing there? A practicing company secretary is coming and verifying the records of the company. Has this company followed secretarial standards, followed the Companies Act, the company's rules and any other compliance which the company has to do as per the act and other applicable laws. When I say other applicable laws, it could be Foreign Exchange Management Act, it could be labor laws or industry specific laws which applies to that particular industry like food industry or cosmetic industry or manufacturing concern, whatever it is. So we as an external practicing company secretary, we go there, we see okay everything is in order and we give a report, or if it is not in order we give a remarks that these things have to be improved by the company. So statutory audit, secretarial audit, and then the checking of whether the company is sustainable is sustainability audit, which we have over here. Evolution of the audit, framework for audit, how do you do that audit, the process of conducting the audit, and most importantly audit standards of sustainability and importance of the audit. How is the sustainability audit important? See, today especially foreign investors or big venture capital firms, big hedge funds, they are all investing in companies where their money will be safe for next 100 years. So my question is, if you put money somewhere, are you sure that that money is safe for next 100 years? Whether it's 50 or 100 or 150 years, but are you sure? We are not sure. We don't even know. We have even seen cases where banks have failed. We feel bank is the most safe place to invest, but banks have also failed, right? Or will you be comfortable, I'm asking you a question, will you be comfortable to invest in a company which makes vehicles but only petrol and diesel vehicles? That there is a company, suppose for example they say we will never make electric vehicles, we are against electric vehicles, we want to live in the ice age, means internal combustion engine, we believe only in petrol and diesel, we don't believe in electric vehicles. Are you comfortable to invest in that company? No, you'll say, sir, are you mad? Because the future is electric and we cannot have a system where we have only internal combustion engine vehicles. Any company which wants to survive in the automotive sector, for example, they have to start making EVs, and all companies are doing it. Similarly, in entire world, lot of things are changing. Lot of things are happening in the business world, in the environment, in the society, and lot of things like wars you have been seeing. So with all this, business also should adapt, and for business to be sustainable, you have to be on top of it when it talks about technology, environment, ethical standards, labor, all of these. Let me give you a small example. So there was a company, in fact, you know all of you very well, Kodak. Kodak is a company which was very famous when I was young. Whether it is a camera, only thing we thought is Kodak, and they had a very cheap camera also, where it started from 1000 rupees, because their technology was film roll. So if you remember, there used to be 36 photos you can take. You can ask your parents, you may not know. But when the digital revolution came, Kodak did not adapt. Kodak said, no, we'll still stick to the film and that is only better. So digital cameras came, digital technology came, they did not adapt very quickly. So you cannot survive. Same way Nokia. Nokia said, we don't want Android. Android is not so good. Nokia is all about hardware and we are the world's biggest company. They had 70-80% of the mobile phone market, the market share they had. They did not adopt. But later what happened? It was not the hardware but the software, Android, which became very easy, and all Chinese companies, Indian companies, US companies, hundreds of companies came in the mobile market, but the heart of the mobile is software and not hardware. And Nokia lost out because they said, we don't want Android, we are going with, they had on Windows software and that did not pick up very well like that. So basically, if you don't adapt to technology, you can't. Same way related to environment. If you tell that we will not be bothered about environment, you can't survive. In fact, if you look at it, even oil dependent countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like UAE, all the Middle East, all the countries which produce oil, correct? Oil is petrol, diesel and all fossil fuels. They are all slowly changing to other things. In fact, Dubai and all, they want to become a tourist attraction in future. They want to become a financial services hub. They know that one day oil will get over and they cannot survive. So they're thinking about the next 100 years. So same way, every company has to think about it, and auditing standards will be there and important. So this is the importance. So without that, you cannot go ahead at all. Next, ESG ratings. So in this part C, you may think, what sir, for 15 marks we should study so much? Yes, the quantity may not be high, but the quality is very high, which we have to study. So if you see your next part, within that part C, you have 3. First we talked about the audit. Next is ESG ratings. So what is rating? Rating is nothing but a scale. Like you have these ranks, you have these awards, right? Even for movies you have award. Even for corporate governance you have award. Like our ICSI itself has awards. For everything there is an award and there is a rating. So credit rating, which you already know, you already have a brief understanding of credit rating, which you have studied in the executive program, right? So rating gives you a standard and a benchmark. Am I there? Even in your personal life, you have something called as your CIBIL score, which is nothing but a rating. So if your CIBIL score is below 700, means you're not up to the mark. If your CIBIL score is above 750 or above 800, that means you're very good in your credit management. So it is giving you a benchmark of what is right, what is wrong, and where you can go. And that is the ESG ratings which we have. So what is a rating? ESG rating organizations, rating methodology and advantages. So here rating organizations, there are different organizations in the world which they have made their own ratings. And that is what they tell on how the companies can apply for these ratings. And if companies are given good points in this rating, that means companies are on the right side of things. Of course, let me also tell you some challenges over here. Many of these ratings are not foolproof and there are many questions. For example, there was a report which said that Exxon is a company like Shell or Indian Oil. It's an oil producing company. They said Exxon is a very sustainable company. But that is quite funny because Exxon is polluting the environment with fossil fuels and petrol and diesel and every other petroleum jelly, everything together. But that rating says that this rating is compared to the other oil companies. So there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of challenges also which we study. We just don't tell that all ratings are good. So when we study more in detail, we'll understand the differences also over here. Rating methodology, how do you that methodology I told you, when you're comparing only with the oil producing companies, yes, Exxon may be better than Shell or Shell may be better than Indian Oil. But overall, is it good for the world? Is it good for the environment? Is it good for the future? That we have to question over there. So advantages of ratings, again, it gives a benchmark with the other companies. Emerging mandates from government and regulators is the third part in the part C which we study. ESG reporting in India, which primarily talks about the BRSR, the BRSR Lite, which is optional for the other companies which are not in the top 1000 listed companies, and what are the other aspects, how has Indian government adapted to ESG reporting, and how are we making our own. SEBI has come out with a concept that why should we simply copy the global reporting standards? Why don't we make our own standards? Because our situation is different, our country is different, our realities are different. So SEBI is working very hard, and we study that ESG regulations around the world. So first in India, then what are the other regulations in the world is what we are going to study. Next important thing in this concept is the whole basis of this part C, sustainability reporting, is the concept of sustainable development. So what is this development? What is sustainable development? First thing, when we say development, the general understanding is what? Development means economic development. You might have seen the news that recently Indian country, or the country of India, we are the fifth largest economy in the world, and even the Prime Minister of India has told that very soon India will become third largest economy in the world. Third largest means USA is first, China is second, then India will become the third largest. That is what the Prime Minister of India is telling, and they are working towards it. So what is this large economy? It is based on the GDP, gross domestic product, correct? GDP of the country. So how does the GDP grow? If the country develops, if more businesses are there, if more activities are there, more economic development where money is getting created, jobs are getting created, manufacturing is happening, service industry is growing, all this is what we call development or economic development. But economic development comes at a cost. In the 1970s itself, the Western countries, which now what we call them as developed countries, correct? We say India is still developing, but a developed country like USA we call developed country, Canada is a developed country, Australia is a developed country, United Kingdom we say a developed country, France is a developed country, Germany is a developed country, Japan is a developed country. So we call all these countries first world countries or developed countries, right? But that development came at a cost. In the 1970s, 1970, 1980, these countries started to see that if you develop without thinking of all the factors, it becomes foolish, right? When you develop only to think that my GDP should go up, my country should grow, what about the forests? What about the river? What about the ocean? What about the air? So is it okay for me to simply develop and pollute the air, pollute the water, pollute the ocean? Is it possible? No. End of the day, you like it or not, the whole world, we just have one planet as of now. Don't tell, okay sir, Elon Musk is telling we'll go to Mars. That is still, I mean, I don't know whether that will happen. That's not very practical as of now. But still, as of now, first we should protect what we have. At least for all the people who believe you want to go to Mars, at least till you go to Mars, our Earth should be safe. So the developed countries started to realize. In fact, there was a book published in 1970 called as Environmental Handbook. It was published in US, and this book said that this is the last decade. In 1970 they said the last decade for us to try and survive. That is what they said in 1970. So this country started to realize, and they said that okay, if we need to have a sustainable development, we have to start right now, and we have to develop which is a balanced way. So if you see over here, what are they saying is the concept of economic growth and ecological concern should be combined. So you can have economic growth, so nobody is telling you don't grow, but have the growth where you are also treating the ecological concern, because both go hand in hand. End of the day, we have one world, so you can't be blind and just do economic development. It should go hand in hand. Then the United Nations, they had something called as the Brundtland Commission and the Brundtland report. The person who was the head was Brundtland, so that is so the place is Brundtland, so that is why Brundtland report. So what did they say? Development that meets the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. So what does that mean? So today's generation, they can get whatever they want, food, shelter, clothing, but the next, our children's generation, their children's generation should also be protected. There is an old Native American saying that whatever we do today, we should think of the 7th generation. How will it affect them? So today, if you are polluting the river, you should tell not how it will affect me tomorrow, how it will affect after 7 generations. So that was the forethought of our ancestors across the world. That is why we are there today. If we don't think of next 7 generation or even next generation, how will we survive? So this is the UN report which came. So basically, we have people, planet and profit, which all three have to be thought about together. That is the social concerns of the world, the environmental problems and climate change, which is the biggest problem we are facing as a humanity, and at the same time we have to survive economically. Economic sustainability of business. So if we stop everything, is it possible? That is also very difficult, right? You can't just stop everything and think that if things are going to go well. So that is why we have corporate governance in the wake of financial crisis. So in this, what are they trying to say? So what are we trying? We need to conduct the business operations in such a way which does not affect the future. If you see here, conducting operations in a manner that meets existing needs without compromising ability of future generation to meet their needs. So whatever needs in future also we need, and that is why we have to conduct the business. And most importantly, if you see, life of the community in which it operates and includes environment, social and governance issue. And company secretaries are the people who protect corporate governance. We are the experts at corporate governance. That is what is the vision of ICSI also, for our CS people, members, to be governance leaders in the whole world. And now with corporate governance, we should add environmental and social factors, and the new subject called ESG comes into picture. So I think you are getting a brief idea. So next is corporate sustainability. So how can a company sustain for a long term? It should be with the angle of what? It should be with the angle of what is it? Economic sustainability, social sustainability, and obviously the governance should be highly ethical. So when I say corporate sustainability, it is conducting business to create value for present shareholders while protecting rights of the future shareholders and stakeholders. See, the basic concept of company law is people who give capital to the company are the owners of company, and they have to be served very well. Even if you look at it in economics, what did Adam Smith say? Adam Smith and the whole concept relating to that. It is all about the shareholders should be given the maximum benefit because they are taking the risk. Correct? Like this, there have been many economists, most of them American economists, who always said that you should serve shareholders and nothing else matters. But slowly people started realizing that we cannot live in isolation. Things are connected to each other. Things are connected to each other, and we have to think of all the things before we take any decision or any business activity is done. So that is corporate sustainability. And to give you an idea of how big this is, sustainability reporting from 1993 to till 2002, this data is how many companies did, and this was the data which was taken in USA. Usually all these things, it starts in a developed country like USA, and slowly Europe is also very high on sustainability in the whole world. Europe is number one, then comes USA, then other countries are slowly catching up. So we as company secretaries, we are already good in reporting relating to board meetings, reporting relating to the board of directors report which we give every year in the AGM. Then along with that, we have the financial report, the audit report, secretarial audit report, corporate governance report. So we're already giving these reports. Along with that, sustainability reporting is the future, and here is proof for you. If you are a student in professional, you should be thinking, sir, why are we studying this? This is the future. That is why we are studying. You should thank ICSI for adding this subject. Excellent. See here. So they've given G250 companies which are there in the US. In this G250 companies, that is the top companies in the US, in 93 only 12% of the companies started to do sustainability reporting. Nobody thought 1993 it was not at all required. But if you say in the year 2022, 96% companies are doing it, and in the top N100 companies, 79% companies are doing it. This is 93 to 2022 data. As you go further in next 5 years, both these numbers will see 96 will definitely reach 100 and the 79 will reach around 95%. That is the future, and that is the need which we have in this particular sustainability reporting. So let us take a look at it. So sustainability reporting. So what is there? What is this reporting? I've told you there are different kinds of reporting and where this thing comes. So in late 1980s, first some companies started to publish. So usually these are the European countries, especially Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk is a company which is based out of Denmark. It's a very big pharma company. So they make drugs relating to diabetes, controlling diabetes. So it's one of the biggest companies in that particular field, and they are highly sustainable, and like the Nordic countries are very environmentally conscious. So they started this in the 1980s. Slowly companies started to adopt. Companies which are environmentally sensitive operations, large polluters, started to publish sustainability reporting to showcase their efforts towards the sustainable development. So they started to say that yes, we are also sustainable, we can also help the environment as a whole. The concept evolved over time through efforts of various organizations. So a lot of non-government organizations, lot of activists, lot of governments, experts, they all said that why should we measure success of company only in the profits, net profits, gross profit, how much tax they paid? See, we should tell a company's success or failure not only depending on how much profit it made, how much dividend it gave, but how sustainable it is for the future, because it is also in the selfish interest of the company. It is not like, oh, it's a social good, it is good for society. No, company can survive long only when it can deal with all the surrounding problems. So even for shareholder, it is actually very good if you do sustainability reporting, right? So sustainability and environmental management came into picture, and finally we got this. So in this reporting, see, this is the first class in this part C. So please get a good grip of how the whole structure is. I'm giving you the bird's eye view. Please understand that. So after reporting, the basic comes to sustainability audit. So is the company really sustainable? Measuring how sustainable a company is. So we are trying to measure how sustainable the company is. That is comparing the sustainability practice of the company with the peers. We are comparing with other companies. Are they sustainable? Like in the same geographical area. So let us say in India and in the textile industry, which company is most sustainable? So that is another thing which we can do, which we call as comparing with the peers. Peers is competitors. Another word for competitors is nothing but peers. So in simple, it is a scale. You can see the scale over here. So it is a scale, or it is a measure on how sustainable the company is. And how do you know? By audit. You do statutory audit of financial, correct financials, that is balance sheet, P&L. You do secretarial audit. Are the secretarial records proper? Is the notice proper? AGM proper? Meeting proper? Quorum is proper? Same way, is the company sustainable? We do it with the sustainability audit. Okay, so what is this business sustainability? So we have the different concepts over here. So that is economic factors, governance factors, social factors, ethical factors, okay, and environmental factors. All these three things should be seen together. See, the old concept is, they said people, planet, profit. That is very good, it is still there. But today we are talking about all these things. So there were a lot of financial scams in the whole world, including India. So 2007 to 2009, there was a global financial crisis. There was a huge economic downturn. People were losing jobs. A lot of issues were there. Okay. So that time there were many different countries which came out with different regulatory responses, means different laws, regulations, policy, rules. Okay. And they said that we should have corporate governance which is ethical and corporate accountability. People should be answerable for their mistakes. Business and professional organizations worldwide have also responded by developing business sustainability framework, and these frameworks revolve around the concept of this, correct? Economic governance, social, ethical, environmental dimension. So all this should be looked into, which is not just people, planet, profit, which was the old thing. Now we are looking at the newer concept. So how does this look? How does this look? So when I say the company is sustainable, what do you mean by sustainable? What do you mean by sustainable if I say company is sustainable? Whatever business the company does, first it should create economic value, it should create profits, otherwise we cannot do business. It should increase the public wealth, that is for proper distribution of public wealth. Economic equality we have to work towards. Socially it should be justified. Environmentally proper. What is the use? See, now in tourist attraction there is overdevelopment. We saw in India itself, in Kedarnath, what happened? Because it was overdevelopment. So that is the thing. Ethically conducted. See, we don't want Vijay Mallya kind of companies. We want Infosys kind of companies. We want Narayan Murthy kind of entrepreneurs, correct? So that is what we want. All the rules, applications, everything should be conducted, which is nothing but corporate governance. Corporate governance. So these are the things which we call as a sustainable business. So all these things together, so you should have a combination, economically sound and environmentally sound. So this is the first introduction, the overview of part C in this particular concept. So remember that the future is not going to be easy for companies who are only thinking of financial profit. For their own survival, forget about others, forget about environment, forget about society. For the company's own survival, they have to always innovate. And this has been the case, and only companies which adapt to new changes can survive. And sustainability is the future. Sustainability reporting is our job. We are already good at corporate governance. So this is an addition, and ICSI has added it as paper 1, which is very good. Now, if you want to study this in a very in-depth manner, we have classes for the CS professional program, and let me just give you a brief understanding. So for ESG paper 1, we have the coaching classes, which we have the practical concepts. Since I have done a lot of practical work in this, I've done some international courses in this subject, so I can give you all those insights. I can give you case studies, which is what is happening in India and abroad. So the more case studies we study, we'll understand the subject easily, and most importantly, in-depth learning to help you score 60+ marks. So this is my goal, that if you are a student of Ekcel Academy and me as a teacher of ESG, I want you to score 60+, and I hope you will do it if you follow all the things which I told in the class. And as usual at Ekcel Academy, you know very well, we have personal mentorship, we have live classes, we have recorded classes. So as a CS professional student, I would like you to join us. So we have recorded class, live sessions, mentorship. This is our number 973-973-3400. You can get in touch with us. They will give you a guidance how you can join. Please do take some of the sample classes before you register and pay. And our website is also there. You can go and do a free registration. So that is pretty much what I wanted to tell in this class. For any more questions, I'm always there. Please do let me know in the comments if you like this class and if you like the style of teaching. So I will see you in the ESG classes for CS Professional. Thank you.